just after first light here. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and I promised a chicken rodeo, so I gotta empty out the box of the truck. We got that old trampoline that we bought the other day, get it into the sea can, and I'm gonna get some totes and head off to Rio Grande. So we're in the chicken house, and the chicken rodeo is about to start. One crazy frizzle looking chicken. I don't know what that's all about, but all its feathers seem like they're turned the wrong direction. Hey chickens! You ready for a new chicken house? It's hard to leave the treats, isn't it? Okay, so as we go to catch these girls, we're gonna wanna know when we get them over to our farm what year they are, so that when it's time to retire, it's time to retire. And how we tell is we put a blue zip tie around their ankle, just loose so it's not tight or anything like that, but snug enough that it can't slip off of their foot.
What's that?
Hey, we got the frizzly one first.
Is it chicky in there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He doesn't want to come.
All right, so we're back from Rio Grande now, and as much as you think we're prepared, maybe we're not. So unfortunately, one of the 25 birds did not make the journey. That is the sad story of the day. Probably sat on by another one. Anyways, there was a second one that was really close, but has come around, and they're in the coop. The coop that these chickens came from was sitting at about 16, 17 degrees, so quite warm actually, into ours, which I did have a heat lamp on in there, but unfortunately the wind has turned and is blowing from the northeast, right on the door side of the chicken house. So we've jammed some rags around the door just to make sure that it's completely draft free, and there's a heat lamp going in there and a little heater. Hopefully get all the girls kind of slowly acclimated to a colder environment. I'm also running them out some water with electrolytes, vitamins, and some apple cider vinegar in there. And I'm also going to chuck one more bag of pine shavings in, just to hopefully get it as toasty warm as we possibly can. Now, because the wind's coming out of the east like that, I don't want to open and close that door a whole bunch, because just even getting them in was definitely made everything quite cool in there. So I'm gonna get everything stacked up at the door, and it'll be water, food, sawdust, everything coming in all at once, and close the door behind, get it all set up, and then out, and I won't check on them again probably till after Charlotte's in bed, and hopefully everybody settles in okay. All right, so we're in here with the girls. They're all set up on the roofs. There's a bunch on the shelf. Got the heat lamp, a little heater going. They got their water, and they got their feed and lots of dry shavings. So we're gonna leave these girls be. Well, this is it. It's official. I'm over here feeding the pigs, and it is snowing. I don't think the sheep are too happy about it. So our artificial summer we had all through January looks like it has drawn to a conclusion. All right, now it is fully nighttime. What time is it? Well, it's 1:30 cold as hell outside. That's what time it is. So I'm about to go next door to the little chicken house and check on the chickens to see how everybody's making out. Well, the good news is everybody's toasty warm under the heat lamp. There's a whole bunch of them sharing the shelf here, but there are lots down below on the floor here as well, and even some up in the roosts. So I'd say everybody's settling in quite well. All right, so change of subject. Still talking about cold, but just in different context. For those of you with cold rooms, I really need your expertise, and here's where you can drop some knowledge in the comment section for us to help us out here. We have a cold room in our basement, but it's really inconsistent in the temperature that stays in there. Obviously, the temperature in the cold room fluctuates much like the weather outside. And I'm curious as to how everybody manages to, I guess, regulate airflow, regulate temperature in their cold rooms. Let me know in the comments section down below, because right now, whatever it's doing outside is whatever it's doing in our cold room. So that means when we just had this big warm spell, things are like cool cool in there. But you know, we're about to go in the polar plunge. It's gonna get frosty in there. On another completely separate note, buckets. We have some oil buckets that have been cleaned out, and we use them to pack grain. Well, one just like this, the handle busted today, right in here. And waste not, want not, don't want that bucket to go to the dumpster. It's a custom rope handle, pretty easy to make. Just drill 2 holes where the handle goes, run it through, tie a knot, melt the ends, and we're gonna have a bucket for years and years to come until this rope degrades, at which time we can easily replace it. And the bucket lives on. All right, so here we are in the cold room. Figured it was just easier to show you than try and explain it from outside in the shop. So we know for sure the ceiling is not insulated. That's probably our biggest problem in and of itself, especially considering there's some ducting and stuff that runs through here. But what I'm really curious about is this piping here. So you've got your cold air inlet that comes in from outside, as well as the hot air exhaust. And I'm just curious to what you guys are doing out there. Is anybody regulating the airflow in and out? And if so, how do you do it? And what is the benefit? Let me know in the comments section down below. Anyways, I'd love to stay and chat, but I have some tea to drink and a kitchen to clean, so I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow.